Welcome to Same Cast Different Day podcast. I am Martel Roland.
And I am Tina Marie.
I had a whoopsie already.
Oh my God.
I was talking to the TikTok live audience and didn't realize that the opening video stopped rolling. I forgot to bring us up.
You know what? I need you to
I,
get it
I
together.
haven't even had wine yet. Okay. Oh Lord. Let's get let's get the show started with health updates and tips with Tina Marie.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tina Marie. If you don't know by now, I am a registered nurse. And this is health topic. So today we're going to talk about sickle cell disease and a new gene therapy treatment um, that has been press released to the public. So we're going to start out with what is sickle cell disease. I know people have heard that. Um, it is a genetic mutation that affects the red blood cells, and basically, your red blood cells are usually roughly in the shape of a circle. But with people who actually have sickle cell disease, their red blood cells turn into a sickle or a crescent. Think about the moon, right? The crescent of a moon. And when that happens, it can cause all types of issues, namely being um, the shapes of the red blood cells stop the blood from being able to move through your vessels. Okay, so this in turns, um, the red blood cells in turn start to get stuck, and they can cause things like a sickle cell crisis, which I know a lot of people have heard of, um, which include a lot of pain, and then can also lead to things like stroke, eye problems, infections. Okay. Um, Now let's kind of break it down a little bit. Um, with genes, in order for a person to express a certain gene, both of their parents have to be carriers of that gene. So if you are a person that actually is actively living with sickle cell disease, that means that your father and your mother both had the sickle cell trait. Okay. And just to clarify a little bit more, having the trait does not mean you have the disease. Okay. Now we're going to go into what population of people um, we're going to go into what population of people generally um, this disease afflicts. So I looked up on the National Heart and Lung Blood Institute, which is a subset of the National Institute of Health. Okay, let me give you the backdrop of where I get my information from. So they are saying that sickle cell disease affects 100,000 people in the United States, 20 million people worldwide. In the United States, most of the people that suffer from sickle cell disease um, have African ancestry. Okay. So it's saying that about 1 in every 13 Black and African American babies are born with the sickle cell trait, meaning they don't have the disease, but they have the gene. And if they have kids with another person who has the trait, then that baby will have the actual disease. Okay. And then also about 1 in every 365 Black or African American babies are actually born with sickle cell disease. Okay. And this is just coming out the United States. So generally speaking, when they use supportive care for people who are going through like sickle cell crisis, pain meds, fluid resuscitation, things like that. Um, Bone marrow transplant has been the only cure up until now where they just released um, gene therapy. Okay. So now I'm getting my information from the FDA website where basically it looks like it's two different types of gene therapy um, that they have released this, that they put out this press release about. And generally the FDA, of course, before they establish any new treatment for diseases, they have to go through clinical trials. Okay, so clinical trials were done, and it looks like that they have come across some of the first gene therapies for individuals 12 and up with the sickle cell disease. So it looks like when I was reading through this, that basically what they're doing is first the patient has to go through chemo, and then they will be injected within their bone marrow with a modified gene. Thank you. With the modified gene. Okay, so the hopes is, your bone marrow is what creates all of the different cells within your body. So once they inject or place the new modified red blood cell genes, then your marrow will start to proliferate these red blood cells that are shaped normally. Okay, and kind of in theory cure your sickle cell disease. Okay, and of course, this is just rolling out. So that means it's going to be years and years of studying, kind of the long-term effects of people who have received this treatment. But anytime you do anything genetic, it is very costly. So when I was reading this press release, it looks like that of the cost of gene therapy for sickle cell disease is running anywhere between $3 and $4 million total. And this is something that I kind of wanted to speak on. Just going back to here in the United States, where the majority of people who are afflicted with this disease are African American. So it kind of goes to say, well, who is this treatment? Is this treatment readily available? Things like that. So, Martell, give me your thoughts about that.
I had another seer moment. I was
Oh,
muted.
all right.
So, my thoughts about it is there a way? I get that it's a new study, but it's a way that it can make it cheaper. Is it going to be available for people who are considered low income? And what was the timetable you said for to see if this actually like works, or was it
So I didn't see. So they will continue to.
like how long did they say they need to do the study to see like how it affects people's bodies? Did you say?
Let me see. So let me just read it here. Um, don't mind me. That's my reading. My speed reading. So from the studies, it looks like that they're going to have a 24-month follow-up period.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a 24-month follow-up period following the people who were actually in the study before they
Okay.
released their results.
So this is released out to the public.
This is the FDA that has put this out. They're saying, hey, this
Okay.
is a new treatment or therapy.
Okay. Cause
Okay. Generally,
my whole thing is this is it being affordable? Cause like MRI alone, like
doesn't
I
sound
have
like it.
right, and that's what I'm saying. Like an MRI is well, when I had went was $5,000 just to get an MRI, and if you a person, even with a person like me with health insurance, a copay was still $1,000 just to get an MRI. So if this is basically gonna be like, oh, we have this life saving treatment, but it basically for the people of poverty, I should say below poverty, this is gonna be like, hey, you're just gonna be out of luck when it comes to this treatment.
So you got to think about it. The long-standing cure for sickle cell disease is a BMT, a bone marrow transplant, and those are not cheap.
Right.
Okay. So now they're saying that you got to undergo chemo, and basically what that does is it wipes out all the blood cells. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not just blood cell, white blood cells. Chemo kills everything, right? But it's
Right.
kind of like giving your body a jump start. That's why they place the modified genes into
Hmm.
the blood marrow, so they have a fresh slate to start to
Okay.
make. So that's the thought process behind it from what I'm pulling out of the research here. And I want to
Okay.
go, I'll dive a little bit more into it because this is something that's fresh. But it's big once it hits, the
So,
FDA.
so it's a game changer, uh, like a game changer thing when it comes to the whole sickle cell disease. But it's a costly, and we don't know if people, an average person, gonna be able to afford this type of therapy. So, I mean, I'm with for game changer. It seems like I don't. So besides, I guess getting a bone marrow transplant was like the only option for to treat the sickle cell at this point. Was that like the
That,
only?
yes.
Okay,
So
so
cure,
so
cure.
cure for sickle cell. So it's like now it's either you do the bone marrow transplant or you do something else that don't result in a bone marrow transplant, but more expensive. And to me, it seemed like more havoc on your body than just getting a bone marrow transplant. Because I, from what I be seeing for people who go through chemo, like chemo is hell to go through. So it seemed like I don't know to me. So after hearing what you said about this, and I don't know if this option is really worth it. When I could just, I mean, I guess if you can't find a bone marrow transplant in time to, if your sickle cells at a point where is about to kill you basically, and I can see you going this route as a last resort, but as a first resort, I don't see this as a first resort for people. I feel like this should be a last resort.
So yes, I agree, but you got to think about it. You say when you're on the verge of, you know, this is a
Yeah,
last resort. You got to think about it. Somebody, in order to go through chemo, you have to be pretty, risk versus benefit, right?
yeah,
So you got to be strong enough to even get through the chemotherapy portion of it, right? Because if you
that's
can't,
correct.
then that's no, you might as well just do BMT if you have a donor
Right,
match. So that's the thing. So with a bone marrow transplant, you have to have a match. With
right.
this new treatment, you do not have to have a match. So that's
Okay,
the
so
difference.
new treatment you don't have to have a match. Old treatment you do.
Yes. Yes. So that's the difference. Okay. Now, and they got it for people 12 and up, but you got to think about if you don't undergo a BMT and you have sickle cell disease, like your life expectancy is like, I believe, somewhere between 40 and 60 years.
With living with it with sickle cell.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's a lot of things you got to consider,
Right.
and I know people with sickle cell disease, and I've seen them, within a crisis, working in a hospital environment. You see people within, having sickle cell crisis. Like
Hmm.
it's not fun. It's generally they are more frail, that I've noticed.
Right.
Um, things like that, easily fatigued, um, just generally can't gain weight, things like
Hmm.
that. So, I mean, it looks like the FDA has approved the two companies, um, and they have names. So Casgevy, they approved Casgevy from Vertex Pharmaceuticals and
Uh-huh.
Lyfgenia from Bluebird Bio.
Okay. And so will this new sickle cell treatment be, do they know this, is this something that insurance companies are willing to create a code for to cover?
So, I mean, in my experience, I feel like insurance companies would cover portions of treatment, I would think, like
Hmm.
um like chemo and stuff like that. I don't really, just so they will only cover portions. Like it's very, you can only be in the hospital this long. You have to, it's a lot of if,
So
ands, or buts. You have to have this many sickle cell crisis within this many months to qualify for us to even giving you a portion of the money towards having a bone marrow
so
transplant. Like,
so basically it's like the insurance companies are still going to expect for the sickle cell patients to pay so much money
Yes.
out of pocket before they cover a lot of these treatments.
Yes.
Mm, okay.
So, and so it's great. Like medicine is great, but we do have to find a way where it is affordable. Unfortunately, things like a bone marrow transplant and chemo are very expensive. I
Hmm.
wish chemo was less expensive because cancer is becoming more widespread and common now, you
Hmm.
know, and that's a whole nother discussion. But I really hope that and it's only these two companies. So it's like the competition is real, right? So
Right. So at least it's not a
supply
monopoly
versus
on it right
demand,
now.
right?
Right. So hopefully these two companies can keep up with demand, and then hopefully these two companies will not try to create a monopoly on this type of thing. So probably because I'm pretty sure they're not going to share their information with another company who's going to try to make, because healthcare is nothing but a big old profit pool anyway. So
Right. So I think that you got to think about it as if somebody trademark or they have a patent or something, right? When you
right,
patent something, it's yours and until the patent runs out, and then it can be released, for anybody to make whatever versions of it that they want.
right.
So I'm pretty sure their process is patented, right?
Hmm.
And it might not be the same process, but they kind of got some of the same general procedures. It looks like when I was reading it.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
like another company can do it, and they could be like, "Well, we didn't use the same, ingredients or the same whatever," and then, yeah. But either way it go, because the other companies, whatever person filed the patent, they're still have to pay the other company regardless, whoever owns the patent. So,
mhm.
okay,
Well, I'll keep an eye on that, but mm,
yeah, keep us updated because we need to know about this. I'm very interested in this, and it's finally happy. I'm finally happy to see some type of new scientific breakthrough that has happened, because it seemed like it's been a long time since we had some type of scientific breakthrough when it comes to like
well, it's just
diseases and
been
stuff like
COVID,
that.
COVID, 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 right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hear that they're coming up with something else for. It's like it'd be nice when they hear, oh, we finally found a cure for breast cancer or cancer or they call it lung cancer and all that other kind of stuff.
Child,
It'd
don't
be
get me started on that. I feel like it
yeah,
is. I feel like
yeah.
the treatments. Listen, if you can keep somebody sick longer period of time and have them shell out money for medications, treatments, rather than provide a cure.
Right. And I feel like if they come up with the cure, they make it so expensive where you're still gonna be shelving out probably the same amount of money that they would have got prolonging your whatever
This is where
diagnosis.
we got to come in with some laws to cap all of this.
Right. Government. Oh, government. Look directly into the camera.
Government.
Government. Oh. Oh, was we that was it? I ain't
That
over.
that was it.
Oh,
That was it.
okay,
That
okay,
was it.
okay.
That was it. I'm sorry. So that has been Tina's health health tips for the week. Shoot us a message if you want me to do some research on something and present here. I definitely can. If you have questions about any health related topics, yeah, shoot us a message and I can definitely look into it for you guys.
Yay.
Oh,
They don't know how hard it was. Hold the dramatic pause for the people who are on the audio version. Um, don't forget we have a new TikTok page. It's listed in the comments. I mean, in the description of the video. So make sure y'all go click on that link and follow us our podcast TikTok page. You might find some daily. Might get some videos from me and Tina Marie. That's Tina Marie, Lord Tina Marie. Uh, doing some shenanigans. She might be out one day, see some shenanigans, and decide to record it. So you never know. Um, so let's head into our news roundup.
yay.
Our first story in our news roundup in North Carolina, authorities came across a traffic stop. They were on a traffic stop where they found enough fentanyl to kill 27 million people, more than twice the population in North Carolina. In North Carolina, during the search, they uncovered 5.6 kilos, 118 pounds, possibly mixed with cocaine. They found an excessive amount of money of $100,000. The street value of the drug was about 30,000 per kilogram, which equals out to about $3,752,000 on the street. The two men were from New Mexico. They were traveling from Philadelphia to North Carolina to deliver these drugs.
So my question is, why y'all gotta be so high? Why do you want to be that high? Why
I
do you want to be that high?
I don't understand like drugs, so I don't like for me like so I don't understand what the craze is with fentanyl. Like, why is that something that people want? Why is that some people want to do? I just don't understand it.
So I can't tell you because I ain't never did it. Okay, number one.
I don't even
So
know
I don't know
nobody who
what
has
it
done
feel
it.
like.
So
I don't know what it feel like. No, nothing. But my best guess is fentanyl is a pain medication, right? So you generally see fentanyl before you see morphine, like cancer patients. Like, what are y'all doing? Like,
right,
it's for people who have dying pain, like pains from dying.
right.
Like, what you got to be that high? Like, you want to take something just because it, and then knowing how addictive it is and how bad the withdrawals are
Mm-hmm.
and how much it's going to cost you, how much it ruins your life. Like, but then
It
again, I come back and I say, you know what? People just have addictive behaviors, right?
right. Mm-hmm.
And I get it. It's very, very hard to break a habit, right? It
Right.
is very hard. Everybody has a habit, I will say that, but yeah, you got to have some willpower. And it's just, this is one of those touchy subjects
It's
where
it's
it's very
fentanyl.
touchy.
It's fentanyl like that drug they were missing that like people was calling trank. So there was this video posted online and it was like trank and it was these people like looking like they were dead, like hunched over and they were just like on bus stops and places just sleep.
Um, I think no, Crank was, what was that? Was it Molly?
I have no idea. I'm still trying to understand that. Well, I don't understand the point of people wanting to be on fentanyl. I don't get it. But
Yeah, I think Molly, I don't know, was probably similar to Crank. And I think Ecstasy and Molly were similar, but Molly was stronger.
mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe Molly just has a lot of different names.
Well, they need to start coming up with all these names because I can't keep up.
I don't know. I don't know. Either way, it's all dangerous. It's all dangerous.
So to keep things moving, there's a committee that is set to go. It's the bipartisan. They're trying to well here in Wisconsin. They're trying to get a bipartisan bill. It's heading to a public committee and set to be discussed. It's a ranking system instead of, you know how you go to the voting polls and it says has one Republican, one Democrat on there, and you vote for either which one that you want. So now what they want you to do is list your top five candidates in whatever order that you want. And I guess when you turn in your ballots, whatever person is still the number one on each person list, that's who wins the seat when it comes to voting for our senators. They said the reason behind this is due to that the person who wins will receive more incentives. They did not list what these incentives are, but it doesn't make sense to me. I think we should just keep it the way that it is. And and probably the incentives either they get more money or bragging rights at the end of the day. And I don't think this is something worth rewriting the law and changing our laws to create this ranking system.
So basically, it's going to be like an award show, like a People's Choice Award,
Yeah, they
right?
like nominees are, and then yeah, basically, yeah. I'm guessing
Okay. Okay.
that's what
Okay.
it was like.
So do we know if any other? I don't think any other governments do this, right? Around the world.
No, I don't think I
Hmm.
have not heard of any other because when like even when it comes to like some of the elections I hear overseas, it's always you hear about one person running up against the other person. It's not you go to and it's like a list of five people running against one person for that position. Like I don't, yeah, I've never heard of this before.
And I'm curious to know what these incentives are. Like
So
what?
at the time of this recording, because sorry guys, this isn't a live episode, but at the time of this recording, it hasn't been discussed yet and hasn't been brought to the public floor. So I would keep trying to look into information and see if they post any future information and let you guys know. Keep you guys updated on this. But switching gears, I do want to talk about abortions real quick before we head into hot topics.
Oh.
So in Texas, well, so I say in states where abortions are not legal, we see families and women fleeing the states to go get abortions. So a woman recently went to the government and say like, hey, this high risk pregnancy is affecting my health, and I know it's not the baby isn't going to survive. So basically, the baby was going to be born, and she wanted to abort the pregnancy. So she
Mm-hmm.
went to the Supreme Court. She went and filed it and whatever, and then she had it reappealed. Went to the Supreme Court, and they still told her no. She has to carry this baby to term, even though that the baby is going to be born, almost like a stillborn death. I mean, stillborn death, a stillborn baby. So, and they're still forcing her to carry this baby to term. So now she's like, well, now I'm going to have to leave the state to go get an abortion, so that way I wouldn't have to carry this child inside of me for another 4 months until this child is basically born.
So I don't think people realize, and I'm just curious if any women sit, whoever, if any women have any input in making these types of laws. Like, of course, like back when these laws were first made, of course, women weren't in government,
Mm-hmm.
but just the thought of knowingly carrying around a baby that's not going to live, like that's so traumatizing to a person. It's very, very, very
It
traumatizing.
has to be
And
traumatizing to carry around a baby that you know that's not going to live.
right now, if a woman, you know, mustered enough courage to say, I'm going to get an abortion, because I feel like abortions are also very traumatizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let her, like, come on now. Like, and especially, like, she has a reason. And I don't want to hear no, it's this much percent of a possibility the baby may live, or maybe the baby will live with, you know, great handicaps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just whatever the choice is, they should have a choice.
Right.
Um, and I mean, it's a lot of politics behind that. Oh, does a father have a choice?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can hear that argument, but it's like we can't make a flow chart of rules for everything. You would think
Right.
that, if you're going to have a child with somebody, you should be able to sit down and talk to this person about whatever decisions and make a decision together. That is hopefully.
Right.
But then you have instances where people are raped, you
Mm-hmm.
have instances where the child might kill the mother, right?
Right.
Just all types of things. So I really don't know who had the time to sit down and say, oh, we're going to reinstate this abortion ban because we ain't got shit else to do or talk about in the United
I
States.
mean, it's conservative people who are constantly filing these lawsuits to make for things like this to happen. Like, so they file these lawsuits based because they say, well, this isn't in a constitution. So anything that's not written in the original constitution that the federal government made law, somebody can go basically file a lawsuit and say, well, this wasn't in the original constitution from 17 whatever, and this should not be law. And because it's not written in our original constitution, it's getting overturned. Like they're saying, like, in, I want to say Iowa, one of them states. I know it's a Republican state, but they had people, you know, filing lawsuits like even against same sex marriage. Like it doesn't say anything about same sex marriage in the original constitution. So in Iowa, somebody went and filed a lawsuit in Iowa in which, you know, none of the judges there are going to touch it. So it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to hear the case or whatever. And because it's not stated in our original constitution that was made in the 1700s that, hey, you know, same-sex marriage is legal, or we're going to make same-sex marriage legal, because it don't say in there, they can overturn it and make same-sex marriage illegal across the United States. And that's what a lot of these conservative people do. If a lot of people don't know what conservative is, these are the people who don't believe in the progression of society. They think things should stay the way they were. These are people who think that, what was it back in the day where black people didn't have the right to vote? These are the same people that believe in racism. This is the same people that believe that women shouldn't have rights. These are the same people that believe that women shouldn't work. These are the same people who believe that women shouldn't have the right to vote. These are the same people who think women should just sit at home and be barefoot and pregnant and cook for their men. That's what these, when they say conservatives, that's what they mean.
So I'll say this. Hopefully, we're going to see a change in the way a lot of people think.
Mhm.
Now, I know that some of these ideas are passed on from generation to generation to generation, right?
That's correct.
But eventually, it's already a shift happening, right?
Mm.
So we may not see it in our lifetime. Maybe we'll see the beginnings of it, but
Mhm.
hopefully it can just, because I mean, yes, I believe there should be law, right? Because law
Mhm.
creates order. But then, so my concern is so many other things that are going on for you to be focused about that and to push that through. And that's going to be one of the bills that's on the desk that you're going to discuss, and,
Right.
stuff like that. That's what I don't like, because you're not tackling and dealing with the stuff that actually keep people alive. Like we talked
Right.
about in our last episode, right? Housing,
Mhm.
food, education, things of that nature. So that's what grinds my gears. Like, this is something that if you want to have a discussion about it, have a discussion about it. But I do not feel like this is something that needs to be on the forefront of their minds when
Mhm.
when the economy is actively falling apart. They want to tell you it's rebounding, but they want to
It's
tell you that
not.
it's doing better. But
Our economy is terrible. That's why a lot of people don't even have savings anymore.
so, I mean, as far as and that's sad, and I know here in Wisconsin, I think I did a piece about this in our last season, where um, a judge in Wisconsin found a loophole,
Mhm.
and they reinstated
Yeah,
abortions, right?
abortion. Yeah. Yeah. So we need those loopholes. Speaking of, I have a coworker that I work with. If she would have watched this podcast, she would have known, because she was like, if abortions wasn't illegal, I would have went and got one. If you'd have watched the show, you would have known that you could get one in the state of Wisconsin. Just saying.
Planned Parenthood.
Right. But, ladies and gentlemen, this was News Roundup. And now we're going to head into hot topics. I'm going to try to get through this pretty quickly, hopefully. But there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. So let's get started with hot topics. Yay, hot topic. So to kick things off, so there was this story that went around about Luke Combs suing this woman for $250,000 and won. So basically, this woman was selling cups, and she was selling these cups when she went to Luke Combs concert, and then she said, "Oh, I should start selling like the little tumblers, I think is what they call it." And she put his picture on them, and she was selling them on Amazon. She only sold 18 of these cups, and this company found out and they sued this woman for $250,000 and won. And I'm going to play what Luke Combs' response was to this story.
What's up, guys? Luke here. It's 7:27 a.m. here in Tennessee. I woke up at 5 a.m. to use the restroom, and first thing I saw was this. A woman that's being sued by me for $250,000. I've spent the last 2 hours trying to make this right, trying to figure out what's going on, because I was completely and utterly unaware of this. So we reached out. Firstly, my manager reached out to this news station that ran this piece to try to get some info. And so we do have a company that goes after folks, only supposedly large corporations operating internationally that make millions and millions of dollars, making counterfeit t-shirts, things of that nature, running illegal businesses. And apparently this woman, Nicole, has somehow gotten wrapped into that. And that makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. So I was able to get Nicole's phone number. I spoke to her this morning. She told me that, you know, she was absolutely shocked by this. I'm so apologetic. Talking to her, it makes me sick. Honestly, that this would happen, especially at the holidays. I can't imagine being in her shoes. She told me there's $5,500 locked up in her Amazon account. I'm going to double that, send her $11,000 today, just so she doesn't have anything to worry about. She was never supposed to be involved in anything like this. No fan should ever have to be involved in anything like this. And she got in trouble apparently for making tumblers. So I'm going to make my own tumbler today. That's going to go up today. I'll keep you posted on that. But all that money is going to go to Nicole and her family to try to help with her medical bills. Hopefully that can help her out. And again, this is unbelievable. I was completely shocked when I saw this morning. It makes me sick. This is not something that I would ever do. This is not the kind of person I am. I'm not greedy in any way, shape, or form. Money is the last thing on my mind. I promise you guys that. And I invited Nicole and her family out to a show this year so I could give her a hug and say sorry in person. And yeah, I love you guys. I just wanted to clear that up, man, because it makes me sick for anybody to be thinking that I'm this kind of person, because I'm the farthest thing from it. So love you guys, and I'll keep you posted.
Okay, big
We
kudos.
honestly need more celebrities like that.
Yeah. I was gonna say that we definitely need more people in general.
Right.
Like that, right?
I remember when I was watching the original story, she did say something about how she had these medical bills and she was a struggling mom and stuff. So, and then like they did lock her Amazon account, which had over about $5,500 in there or something like that. And like for this to happen so close to Christmas, like it's complete crazy. That's out of this world crazy.
It is, and shame on them. Shame on them.
Right.
You know, like they probably saw she sold tumblers and she only sold what?
18.
It wasn't even 20 of them.
Right. So I don't think she even
20.
made like $200, because you gotta think she still has to buy the cups and use her own products to make these cups. So if she probably only saw maybe a $5 profit off of each cup, so out of 18 cups, she might made less than $100, and you're gonna sue her? Like, come on now. Let's be real.
Yeah, big kudos to him. That's great. I would definitely love to see more of that.
Right. So we have an out of control NBA star. I found this video on TikTok of this woman giving us a breakdown of this man's, history. And I'm going to play that for you right now.
So the NBA has suspended Draymond Green indefinitely. They basically told him until he finishes anger management and therapy that he can't come back and play again. And indefinitely seems kind of harsh, but I'm going to go through the events that I believe has led us here. The Draymond Green Hall of Pain, if you will. There was that one time in the 2016 NBA Finals when Draymond kicked LeBron James in the nuts. He got suspended for a game and basically cost his team a championship. Then he got into an argument with his own teammate in their team huddle and was suspended for a game for conduct detrimental to the team. This was in 2018, and as you can see, he's got his breath all up in KD's face. Then I think we all remember when Jordan Poole was talking his shit, trash talking Draymond in practice, and Draymond sucker punched him. The video leaked, and Draymond punched him hard. And according to Warriors officials, Steve Kerr tried to get Draymond to take Jordan to dinner and to smooth things over, and Draymond refused. Then he made this very well-lit, well-produced, dramatic music in the background video where he's basically reflecting on the situation, saying that he didn't know it was going to blow up and he woke up to the video and victimizing himself. Then the Warriors shipped Jordan Poole to Washington to watch his career die. Then in 2022, he got suspended again for getting his 16th technical foul, so it triggered an automatic suspension. You can get technical fouls for conduct, fighting, anything like that, excessive timeouts, and talking shit to the ref. And Draymond got 16, so he got suspended. Then he got suspended last year during the playoffs for stomping on Sabonis' chest. And the worst part about that whole thing that I don't feel like people talk about enough is that Draymond practically skipped and sang and danced his way out of the arena when he got ejected for stomping on Sabonis. He literally stood up on the bench and was screaming, "Yeah!" at the crowd, like, what is wrong with you? Then when Draymond from the other end of the court spotted Rudy Gobert trying to break up a fight between Klay and a Timberwolves player, I don't even remember who it was anymore, he ran like a track star from the other end of the court and choked Rudy and didn't let go. And this was his second ejection within 4 days. He had just gotten ejected from a game against the Cavs for getting into it with Donovan Mitchell. Then started yelling at us on his IG story, talking about, I'm in year 12 and y'all still telling me to stop being Draymond. Don't get a tech, blah, blah, blah. So he ended up getting a 5-game suspension that really cost the Warriors. The Warriors lost 3 out of the 5 games without Draymond, and it cost Draymond over $700,000. Now Draymond is suspended indefinitely for hitting Nurkic. And they talk about Draymond like he is insane, like he needs to be put in the asylum. Draymond Green's career fines total to about $2.2 million. I don't care how much money you got, that is a lot. And with this indefinite suspension, he's going to be losing $150,000 a game.
Okay,
we barely knew about Draymond and his anger issues.
Right. First, thanks Mariah Cross for the video. Second, he needs to be out of the league in general. He needs to be forced out because I feel like these actions over the years is very uncalled for. It's unsportsmanlike, and he just needs to be gone. Like I don't understand. Just like when he was here playing in Milwaukee, a friend, one of the fans who were courtside said to Draymond, "We ain't forget about what you did to Jordan Poole." And had the man ejected out of the arena over like nothing. Like what is like he's a big crybaby when he can't get his way. He's a bully and he's an asshole and needs to be injected. He doesn't need to be in the NBA no more.
Yeah, I don't know how he's gotten to what he said year 12. Is this 12, 13, whatever this is now? It's
12 years.
A decade, over a decade of his BS, right?
Right.
Like, and I saw that last, whatever you want to say, windmill or whatever it was, when dude was behind him, he backed into dude and he turned around and like,
mm-hmm.
I was just like, bro, what are you doing? Like, he's done so many, like he played, I was reading one person's comment, he played penitentiary ball.
Yeah,
like he got black forces on. Like he is the epitome of black forces.
The
Like
black. You,
I can't believe he made it this far. And I'm just like, he need to go to some counseling, get into some meditation because his behavior is just explosive. His temper is explosive.
mhm,
And you just
mhm.
think it's okay for you not playing street ball. Like you're in the NBA, it's
And
regulated for a reason.
and the thing about it is, like, you hear about all these incidents on the court, but you notice you don't hear about none of these incidents that he has off the court, like in his private life. Like, why is it that when the cameras is on and all this attention on you, like when this stuff happened on the court, these fights is going to be broken up. I feel like if he wasn't going to do this shit out in the streets, he wouldn't do it. The way how he act on his court, he wouldn't do this out in the streets
That's
because
a
he
good point.
knows that they would beat his ass or shoot his ass or something like that. So I feel like all this shit that he's doing, as far as beating up people in the court and stuff, this is all for show. Just it's all a show. And once again, he doesn't need to be in the NBA. If he's going to continue to act like this, he doesn't need to be in the NBA. It's force him out. Don't even pay him. I don't even feel like he should be paid out the rest of his contract at this point. Like, you should just be
Mm-mm.
forced into retirement, and you need to go sit down and have several seats and go on with your life at this
Yeah,
point.
this is probably the end of him.
I hope so. And
Yeah.
speaking of people, we need to stop trying to cancel Matt Rife. Okay.
Who?
Matt Rife. He's a comedian. He was on Wild 'N Out for a couple of seasons, and then he was kind of like ugly on there. And then next thing you know, he just became. Some people think he went and got plastic surgery. Now he's this fine ass white boy that people don't fall in love with. And to be honest,
Oh, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about. I
and
thought he was
actually,
quirky and
yeah,
cute.
to me, he's very funny to me. I love his comedies. I love his stand up. He's funny. Like I like his stuff. So he made a joke in his Netflix special about a domestic violence relationship, and well, basically, people, women in domestic violence, and I think it's something about a ring, and then he punched whatever the man punched the woman, whatever it was. He made a joke about domestic violence. So this woman decided to use her son to go and comment to Matt Rife about this his domestic violence thing with a boy, domestic violence, and I believe like he said the boy had said something about to Matt Rife about Jupiter doesn't have rings or something like that. One of the planets don't have rings, and everybody's saying like Matt Rife should apologize to the little boy for his comments after. Well, he commented to the boy after the boy comment said something. But this is what Matt Rife said. He says, Jupiter also has a ring. Oh, and Santa isn't real. Your mom buys your present with money she makes on OnlyFans. Good luck. Is what he said to the little boy. Now, first of all, this is a 6-year-old boy who had no business being on TikTok. The mom shouldn't let him be on TikTok in the first place. So this is how you know she was using her son to try to make a point in the first place. And I don't think he needs to apologize whatsoever. The mom should have kept the son out of it, kept the son off of social media. And first of all, if the mom had an issue with what Matt Rife said, then maybe she should have said something directly to him instead of trying to bring her 6-year-old son into it.
Yes. So my question is, how many of those things are untrue? Jupiter doesn't have rings. Santa is not real. Does his mom do OnlyFans to buy Christmas gifts?
Right. Well, like, how many of those are actually true? Yeah.
Which one of
The
them doesn't belong, or do they all? Like, yeah. He had no business like saying anything to, he didn't. And I understand. And was his mom like a victim of domestic violence?
To be honest, I don't even know. It
Because
was
how
just
did that even get into the mix then?
a Karen don't know how to mind her own business, and that's this. See, this is the thing I be saying. The world is so like you can't like. Well, when I was younger, there was so many cruel and offensive jokes that would be made, but we knew that it was a joke and laughed at all. Ha ha ha. But we know if it was like if we were to see certain situations in person that people were joking about, we would do something about it. We're not going to just stand there and laugh. But like I said, like what they saw, like dark humor jokes and stuff like that. Like we can understand jokes. Like I feel like the older generation, I shouldn't even say older generation. Millennials and younger can understand jokes. These people that are millennials, those up the Gen Zs and newers, like they don't understand jokes and they take stuff too serious. Like stop being so freaking serious all the time. Like just learn how to go ha ha ha. Your life would be so much better if you go learn how to ha 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 sometimes.
I'm too done. I'm over you. What? Learn how to ha ha ha.
Yes, learn how to ha 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 sometimes. Good God.
Oh my God.
So I did have more for hot topics, but due to the sake of time, we're gonna have to say those for the next episode. But what I am gonna do is get into some TikTok videos of the week. All right, so here is our first video coming from a teacher.
What kind of a teacher sets up their student to make a white supremacy joke on their very first day of school? Me. My very first year teaching, my very first day teaching, I had a group of students come in. They were seniors, they were precious, and I was new, and they could tell. And I decided we're going to do this fun little game called Two Truths and a Lie. A delight. A gem. Way too much time. Don't do that icebreaker. So I asked if there's any volunteers, and one young man volunteered. And that should have been my first clue. This young man stands up and says, I play football, I play golf, and I applied to join the local chapter of the KKK. It should be noted at this point that this young man was African American. And I said, okay, obviously you didn't apply to join the KKK. That's not what you did. And he turned his laptop around where the rejection email from the local KKK was located, because he did in fact apply. And they did not let him in.
Why does the KKK have a website for you to apply for membership?
That was what I didn't know either. I didn't know the KKK had a website that you could apply to be a member. I should go find his website and go apply. I got a white enough name, so they probably think I'm white.
So now it would have been me sending a letter like, I would like to know the reason why my application was rejected.
We need to go find his website. Oh my god. Maybe on one episode I like live stream my I have my screen pulled up and everybody can see it on the podcast, the video version, and watch me apply for the KKK.
For the cake.
Why isn't this website taken down? Why is the KKK still a why?
The KKK ain't ever gonna go away. Come on now.
I didn't know that it was still so.
That's hilarious. Now he was in class actively applying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did he really apply? Like, did he do it in class? Did he do it before class? Like, did he know that
Why
she was
going to
ask this in class?
on that website?
Right. Don't will public school websites block them?
Oh man.
Oh Jesus. Oh.
That was funny. I enjoyed that.
Okay. Oh God.
First day as a teacher, boy. They got her. Got her.
Okay. This last video, I might not even play the whole thing, but this is came from Mariah Carey.
Mama, he's gonna mop that floor really nice, because it feels like twice to me. He should mop the floor tonight, so it don't make me fall right on my butt. Please, just don't know what to do. It comes to me and you and the mop tonight. Well, I guess the right thing to do is for me to try and do this too. Sir, would you allow me? mop for a second so nobody can say I didn't mop. It was like she thought she was too good to mop. Okay. It's really easy if you try. Oh, see, it's all over here. That's the hair grease section.
Did she say the hair weave session? First
What is
of
wrong
all,
with her?
Mariah Carey mopping in a ballroom gown.
With a headpiece. With the headpiece.
Leave it to Mariah. Oh my God.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. So those was our TikTok videos of the week. And now we're going to head into final thoughts.
Woo, final thoughts. Okay, so it's just really sitting in my soul that our government is more concerned with
Women's lady
stopping
parts.
people. Yeah, just
That's
stopping
the only way.
freedom of choice with certain things and not just concentrating on shit for people to. If you don't have people alive, they're not gonna be able to make free choices. Like what? Like it's crazy to me. I just really, it's just sad. It breaks my heart. That really breaks my heart. I mean, I'm not a big supporter of the government in any way. I'm just here trying to raise my children. But yeah, man, it's terrible. Like I don't feel like I don't feel like it's a democracy anymore.
It's not. Our democracy is gone. Our government don't want to let us make our own decisions. They want us to continue to live in poverty, no matter if you make anybody that make less than $500,000 a year. The government wants you to live in poverty, and that's just how I see it. And we need to stop. There needs to stop being dumb criminals in this world.
I don't think
Please
that's ever
stop.
gonna stop.
I know that's not going to stop. And then also, we need to stay off these drugs and make sure y'all take care of yourselves out there. And that's my final thought. And with that being said, we will see you all on the next episode of Same Day Podcast. Make sure you check out those links in the bottom for discounts on clothing and stuff like that. And we'll see y'all on the next week. And we hope that you all have a very Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.